Welcome to our World News Update for May 13th, 2022. There's just so much going on in the world that I really don't even know where to start. I've had many things come across my desk to report on, but it would just take too long to try and cover everything. However, something I believe few know about is that of what the nations are doing all over the world with the World Health Organization. On May 22nd, in Geneva, most all nations around the world will be voting to give the World Health Organization full authority over them in regards to emergency actions needed regarding a health crisis situation. From Israel365news.com, we read, officials from the Biden administration are working to give the World Health Organization the power to unilaterally declare a health emergency in any country, thereby giving them emergency powers. The message from the administration and the vote are going unreported by the heritage media, but former Congressman Michelle Bachmann is working hard at sounding the alarm. Bachmann has stated that the upcoming vote in Geneva over the Biden administration's amendments would cede U.S. sovereignty to the World Health Organization over national health care decisions in what she described as the biggest global power grab that we have seen in our lifetimes. This is virtually treason on the part of the Biden administration, allowing another entity to have authority over U.S. citizens. Unless action is taken by our government now, this is what we're facing after May 22nd, 2022. Even if we were to remove the Biden administration from office afterwards, the U.S. would still be subject to this international agreement, which would make it subject to the international courts, not the U.S. court system. This is truly unthinkable, and I don't even know how any U.S. politician is willing to let this happen to the United States and its people. Why aren't we hearing more about this? Why aren't more politicians speaking out against it and putting a stop to the Biden administration on this topic? And why is the Biden administration doing this? How can any of our representatives just let this happen? If there's ever a time to call your local and state representative to make them take action, it's now. Let me repeat that. If there's ever a time to call your local and state representative to make them take action, it's now. This not only has potential to change America as we know it, it has potential to literally change the world. The World Health Organization could step in whenever they deem a situation is worthy of their intervention. They don't even need documented proof. They would be granted complete autonomy to step in and force a country to submit to their orders under the guise of public health. If this isn't stopped, it will be the beginning of the end to national sovereignty for all nations involved. Let me say that again. If this isn't stopped, it will be the beginning of the end to national sovereignty for all nations involved. In other news, while the war in Ukraine continues, China has begun ramping up their war machine. Recently, China surrounded Taiwan with warships as their military conducted wartime drills. Though China has conducted drills in the past, this time their military drills involved a significant increase of warplanes in the southwest and southeast part of the island. The focus is to bring about their quest to put Taiwan under Chinese control. China claims that Taiwan's sovereignty was transferred from Japan to the Republic of China at the end of World War II. The countries have since been governed separately, but under their current president, Taiwan rejects China's idea of a one country, two systems formula first established in Hong Kong. Although the People's Liberation Army have conducted other drills in the past, this time their reunification by force exercises included the neutralization of Taiwan's Democratic Progressive Party secessionist forces by strategically cutting off paths for external interventions. This shows China's intent to the world that they're prepared for any nation that comes to give aid to Taiwan. There's no doubt to the intention of these exercises, since China has made it known to all by saying the PLA exercise was a partial rehearsal of a possible reunification by force operation. It's as if they've been looking for all the weak areas in their attack to prevent any intervention from Japan or the U.S. China is also upset with the U.S. over Taiwan. The U.S. State Department has recently made changes to its website. Previously, the site showed Taiwan as a part of China. However, that has changed. The website has a U.S.-Taiwan relations page. The updated version of this page doesn't show Taiwan as a part of China. It's reported that a sentence on the page was removed that said the U.S. does not support Taiwan independence, therefore implying the U.S. now supports independence for Taiwan. Why these changes in support for Taiwan from the U.S. State Department? I'm not sure. However, it appears they've made it clear they will support Taiwan if needed. In fact, the New York Times reported the U.S. has been pressing Taiwan to buy weapons more suited to win against China. This has gained urgency since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Recently, Taiwan has requested to be a part of the previously mentioned World Health Organization meeting this month. But China has declared its opposition to this, stating, China cannot agree to Taiwan's participation in the World Health Organization conference this year. We advise the authorities to stop making use of the pandemic to engage in political manipulation. Otherwise, they will only bring humiliation upon themselves. This statement alone shows how we can see the Far East opposing the world system that's trying to gain movement in building its one world system. Why do I say this? Because when it comes right down to it, it seems China is the only country who could single-handedly bring these verses in Revelation to pass. These verses in Revelation 9 and 16 discusses military forces from the east crossing the Euphrates River, an army numbering 200 million. While that may sound silly at first, please consider these facts on China and how they can form a 200 million man army in days if needed. The People's Republic of China is seen by many as an economic powerhouse, with the world's largest standing military that has the potential to translate economic power into the military sphere. As one of the elements of power, a nation's military potential is based not only on its capability to defeat an adversary, but also its ability to coerce and exercise influence. China's standing force of some 2.8 million active soldiers in uniform is the largest military force in the world. Approximately 1 million reservists and some 15 million militia back them up. With a population of over 1.2 billion people, China also has a potential manpower base of another 200 million males fit for military service available at any time. In addition to this wealth of manpower, China is a nuclear power. It has enough megatonnage, missiles, and bombers to hit the United States, Europe, its Asian neighbors, and Russia. So, with China making a potential stand against the World Health Organization over Taiwan, it seems very possible it has little concern to make its stand against any other nation or the world system that's trying to form. This could very easily be the beginning of China's division from the rest of the world, leading all the way to the days of Revelation 9 and 16. Now, shifting gears here. Not long ago, we released a teaching titled The Coming Alien Invasion in Bible Prophecy. Ironically enough, this coming Tuesday, May 17th, a subcommittee in the United States House of Representatives will be holding an open congressional hearing about UFOs for the first time in more than 50 years. The following is from theblaze.com. In 2021, the Pentagon released a report about its UFO program that detailed more than 140 sightings of aerial objects that could not be explained between 2004 and 2021. The report was considered to be relatively underwhelming at the time, because much of the information had already been disclosed and much of the report was simply concerned with securing additional funding for the Pentagon. The Black Vault, a government transparency organization, was able to obtain a classified version of this report earlier this year. Reportedly, this version of the report contains more fascinating details, but still has considerable parts of it redacted. So, it will be interesting to see what, if anything, comes about from this hearing. Another hot topic lately is the recent talk about the possible overturn of Roe v. Wade. Politico.com reported how our government is saying how it would be a damaging move to our economy if it's overturned. Amazing how the almighty dollar means more than life. A big concern of mine is the coming food shortage. Over the last year, more and more accidents at food companies keep happening. Some have concerns that this food shortage could actually start hitting hard as soon as late August to October. That's yet to be seen, of course. In the recent weeks, there's been more talk regarding the Temple Mount in Jerusalem and Jews being allowed to pray on it. Not only that, but it appears now there are even some Muslim nations in support for the Temple Mount to be able to be accessed by all and not Muslims only. While this has always been a topic of debate in Israel, it's hardly ever had this kind of support from the Muslim community. So, it will be interesting to see how this all plays out. Because of this, it also appears there's been a renewed spark for the building of the third temple on the Temple Mount. While there will always be talk of this happening, especially among prophecy students, it must be noted that a temple is not required for sacrifices to be resumed in Jerusalem. All that's really needed is the altar. That being said, I sincerely believe we may see the original tabernacle come out with the Ark of the Covenant when everything starts. If, and I say if, that happens, it could be set up in weeks, if not sooner. Then everything could resume with the intentions of building the temple. According to 2 Maccabees, the prophet Jeremiah prophesied the tabernacle would come out with the Ark of the Covenant. So, if this is true, we shouldn't be surprised to see this happen someday soon. I know I won't be surprised if the Ark of the Covenant and tabernacle comes out soon. That's for sure. If it does, I believe things will begin in the days quickly following. Regarding the Ark of the Covenant and the tabernacle, we encourage you to watch our 2 teachings that discuss these items and how they will be used in the end times. They're titled The Image of the Beast and The Return of the Tent. As always, these are things to keep ourselves aware of what's going on around us. I realize things could keep going on as is for some time. However, the world we live in is changing rapidly despite much of our status quo continuing in our personal lives. When it comes right down to it, The status quo in our personal lives could change overnight for everyone. There's plenty going on in the world to serve as constant reminders for us to stay in prayer at all times. May we always be attentive to what Yahweh is doing. We don't know the future, but we know the one who does. So let's make it a point to pray as we walk through our everyday routines. Make more time to read. Make it a point to invest more time into your relationship with our Heavenly Father like never before. That way, regardless of what lies ahead, we know we're in good company. Keep your hearts humble in Him as we all learn and grow together in His Word. Blessings and shalom.